Ready to roll? Oh, we gotta talk about stuff. Holy cow, I gotta actually think of what we're doing. Need a second? You good? No, I'm good. All right. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, and so do hundreds all around the world. We're ready. I think we're streaming now on YouTube. We are streaming on X. We are live at the Tap Society, so we're gonna kick off here shortly. You ready?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right, let's hit the tagline. Welcome to Fed Up, the number one podcast to get up on all things Federal League. I am your host, Josh Stoll. With me, as always, our executive producer, Mr. Chris Miner.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome to Tap Society. Sorry, I wasn't ready to speak. I was just trying to figure out what cables plugged into where.
He's the brains of the operation. I'm not sure what I bring to the table, but thank you all so much for coming here. It's an absolutely packed room. If you can't see it, standing room only. How these guys got permission to come out for a night off for baseball after an action-packed weekend in playoff baseball is beyond me. But so grateful that all of you came to support us. But you might mention and you might notice from the background we are live at the Tap Society. Have to give them a shout out. It is the home of the Federal League Hall of Fame. If you haven't seen it yet, it's in this back room back over here. You got to check it out. It's still kind of in the process. It's under construction. It's going to be really cool once it's all built out. If you are on the Twitterverse on YouTube and you haven't been here yet, you absolutely got to get in and check this place out. The tap wall behind us is fantastic. Got a great assortment of tap beers and seltzers and wines. They have non-alcoholic options out the wazoo too. The food is fantastic. Service is friendly. They have a great wait staff. Really great concept, great atmosphere. Absolutely got to check this place out. It is a gem in Minneapolis on Grand Avenue. Don't forget about the tap wagon. You can have that out for home games, away games, graduation parties, weddings. Tap wagon will come to you. They throw 4 kegs on that thing. They usually have a couple of beer options, a seltzer option. My kids swear it's the best root beer they've ever had, and they are root beer connoisseurs. Yep, we got a lot of nodding going on. So it is a great root beer selection as well. And exciting news for the Tap Society. They are just launching a concept called the Tap Burger. They're going to be at US Bank Stadium for all events, most events, for concerts, for Vikings games. You can find the Tap Burger brought to you by Tap Society at US Bank. So make sure to check them out. Is it 127, Fritz? 124. I was close. Section 124, you can find the Tap Burger brought to you by Tap Society for some great food when you're at US Bank. All right. Well, we have a great hour lined up for you. We got started a little bit late. We'll go a little bit late. Our program today, we're of course going to review the weekend that was, weekend number 1 out for all 4 classes. We are going to preview weekend number 2. Got some excellent insights from Mike Wickman of the JTs from our friend Claude Statboy. So we are all just a couple of clicks away from being replaced in each of our jobs, and podcast host is no different. So going to bring you a bunch of those great insights that Claude generated for us. But first, before we get into any of that, we want to we've got a platform here. We want to offer it up for the league. So if you've got something that's pertinent to you, something you want to say, we are just the place to do that. Please reach out to us and let us know. But we're going to bring up Steve Brown from the Eden Prairie Flyers. to come on and just share a little bit of his truth. Just in fairness, Steve, we're going to give the commissioner the mic after you, so don't kind of be that like the trial defense, prosecution, then the defense, will go.
Then we go to jury.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. So first of all, Steve, welcome to Fed Up.
Hey, great to be here. Nice to see all these guys here.
So you've been on before after you guys won the B championship.
Yes.
That was season 1 for us, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I guess JT's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Little dig there. We got some JT's members in the audience. So we heard your baseball story then, so we'll bypass that. That's normally a byproduct for new guests here, but
Sure.
let's go ahead and just kind of get into this. You reached out. You're excited to kind of tell your half of the story here. We covered it a little bit in depth, last week on our episode for the playoff preview, but want to give you the mic here and just say your piece on behalf of you and your team.
Sure. Pretty simple. I mean, when this all kind of went down, my thought was, how did this happen, and how do we get here? And it was my mistake for the most part. Didn't put stats in quick enough. Guys were illegal players. That's the one thing that kind of stuck in my craws. I don't look to put ringers on my team. We basically filled guys in so we'd have 9 so we could play. So we didn't want to forfeit a game. And one of them was on a roster every year, and I mistakenly had deleted him off because I was taking a guy off that joined the Waconia team. And I deleted the wrong guy. And it's a guy, shout out to Treehorn. He's the guy who sings in a band for Treehorn. He hasn't played probably since the beginning of 2024. He's just been on a roster. And another guy had a back injury. Just we begged him to play so we could play a game and not have to forfeit again. So that's basically what it was. But when you see it on websites, they're saying, well, they brought in illegal players, and I'm like, well, technically, yeah, but it certainly wasn't something we're trying to get over on somebody or beat a team with higher players than we already had. I didn't even know they weren't put on the roster properly, but that's my responsibility.
So these weren't 35-year-old baseball reference page guys that you were bringing in that kind of
No.
just dominate your opponent for one game and
you
move on.
You got a lead singer in a band that's really good, Treehorn. I'll say it again. And a buddy that went to high school with a bunch of guys on my team. He had a back injury. He was playing bent over, playing third base at some point, just to give us a 9th guy. It's basically how it went.
Yeah, and we kind of covered it last week on the episode. There's kind of 2 schools of thought here, right? I mean, you've got the guys that want to play first and foremost, right? Nobody wants a forfeit. Nobody wants that on their schedule. Nobody wants to get their uniform all packed up, drive to the ballpark, find out you only got 7 guys, and there's no game, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
First and foremost, you got to have 9 to compete, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. We wanted, well,
Thank you,
8.
Commissioner. At
Yeah.
8 was the comment
if you
yelled
got-
from the back. Yeah.
If you got 2 fast outfielders, 8 works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but half the time they're 40-year-old guys, and there's a hamstring waiting to happen right there. But yeah, we want to be fair to the guys we're playing and not bring in some kind of ringer, but we also want to give them a game, so we did that. I mean, like a couple of them, we could have won with 8, but we played with 9 just to be fair to ourselves, so nobody got hurt.
Yeah, and I certainly understand that school of thought, and I'm sure if and when the commissioner wants to come up and say a few words on it too, he's going to push back. Well, then where do we draw the line, right? And we have the bylaws. It's pretty black and white. They're pretty well communicated. I know you're at the meetings, and it's our responsibility, myself included, as
Yep.
managers, to communicate all the information from those meetings to our players. If the loop doesn't get connected there, all the information is available on the website. So the bylaws are pretty available, and so trying to protect against that scenario where people bring out the ringers, who
Mm-hmm.
played independent ball in 2014, right? And trying to win a game or 2 here down the stretch to claw into a bracket that they want to be in. Where do we draw the line? How do we handle this fairly so that both teams are kind of well represented?
Since I'm here, I got a suggestion on something like that.
Please.
I think we shouldn't lay it all on our commissioner to just make a decision, especially Cliff, great guy, but it's his first year doing it, and he's got to set the standard for it. My thought was make sure you don't have a conflict of interest, and maybe you get 3 secretaries that kind of make a decision for you. You have 3 guys do it. That way you don't have one guy has to make a decision, put all that on him. Have 3 secretaries not involved with it, like in this particular scenario where if there's a team that gets bumped up because we get pushed out, make sure that they don't have somebody that's in that position making that decision. Simple. Three independent people make a decision, and you live with it. That would have been no problem for me either. Because when we originally made this up, I'd offered myself up, throwing myself on my sword, saying I'll take a suspension for the year or whatever you got to do, because it was my fault initially. It wasn't anything my guys did. They all played their butts off all year long, and we're really looking forward to this tournament because we'd had one of our better years.
Yeah, I mean, we've highlighted you on the few episodes that we've done. Seeing some of the pieces come together there. Obviously Charlie Steingas is fantastic.
Charlie's been very vocal on this because he was having a great year and he really was looking forward to pitching this year.
Yeah, and we were obviously disappointed to hear the news too. I feel like as a board we do have a fairly good checks and balance system. We've got 4 division presidents that are available to kind of weigh on some of these things. Jamie Hauslog from the Voyagers is the league secretary. He's quite active and involved in a lot of these things as well. So I'm not sure unilaterally deciding anything or having a more of a checks and balances would change, in this instance. But I feel like just having, knowing where that line of demarcation is, right, where this is a rule, was it followed or not, we have to act accordingly.
I would agree. Yeah, there's nothing problem with following the rules at all.
Kind of brings us into a kind of a greater discussion too of what happens when other teams kind of get into that gray area around stat entry, around things that we haven't maybe followed the letter of the land, and maybe we'll let Cliff kind of come up and respond to some of this too. But I feel like in a new era, we're kind of presented with some really tough decisions, and I know nobody wants to see the death penalty, so to speak, for a playoff.
That would have been expulsion. I didn't get that.
Right. Yeah, right. We stopped short of that.
Yeah.
Yes, but
yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, guys.
But anything else you want to say, kind of on behalf of your guys and your players? I know, as a player, I'm sure it kind of came as a shock. When some of that comes out, it feels a little heavy-handed, I'm sure, and especially when you're gearing up after the season you've had. And who's your other pitcher that you used?
Well, after Buck or Charlie, however you want to call him, it was Kyle McCracken.
Kyle's legit, man.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he got thrown into a couple of tough games, but all in all, he threw great for us. And the Adams brothers, we got 2 of those guys. They do a lot of relief for us because Charlie can't throw every game, so they're always there. So we got a good mix of guys that can do that, along with Charlie and Crack, and then Matt Riga. They're the main 3 starters we have.
Yeah.
And then bring the Adams brothers in to kind of clean it up.
Kyle's a great pitcher. If you haven't had a chance to see him yet, look out, because he's a legit arm in this league. I also heard Derek Marks just moved to Eden Prairie too, so maybe that's a phone call you want to make a phone call.
That's something I'll give you a precursor for next year. We've got some guys coming next year, going to make a big difference, because a lot of the guys were talking about putting a bullseye on every Class A team that was in it this year that we weren't in. So we're looking every Class A team. Look out for us now.
It's been thrown down. It's been thrown down.
We've got another guy coming in way better than anybody we got.
I love it. Well, there you go. Look out for Eden Prairie next year. They will be motivated. They will be retooled, and they will be fired up, ready to go. Steve, thank you so much for coming on, saying your piece. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Mr. Commissioner, if you would.
I left it back there.
Here you go.
Is this too close?
No, you want to be tight. We're tight framed here. We're tight. Again, standing room only. If we had a camera on this, I mean, this place is just packed.
Yeah, I had to fight to get up here. Yeah, man.
All right. So first, before I ask you for kind of your reaction of the weekend, just kind of weigh in on the situation itself, how it went down, how you saw it from your perspective, why you made the decision you did, and just Steve's comments.
Seriously, one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. I do apologize for having to do that, but I felt like the way the rules were laid out, this was a case where it was pretty cut and dry, where I had to make a move. I hated every second of it, so I do apologize. That being said, it it actually kind of goes back 2 years. Last year, we also had some stat entry issues on top of this. So it was a little bit of a systemic choice on top of I had the league meeting where I kind of emphasized stats on the website are going to be well uh, tracked and we want to keep that up to date and driving the league right. And then I had a couple emails throughout the season saying, hey, please keep those stats up to date, get your roster set. I had, I think on June 28th, I had sent an email saying, hey, deadline's coming up, make sure your rosters are set. I think July 3rd, I think I sent an email out saying, hey, rosters are locked at this point. Whatever you have on the website is done. So it was one of those things where I kind of had to make a move. And especially being the first year commissioner, I wanted to make sure that it was known that I will follow the letter of the law that the managers have set. I am only the executioner of those rules, right? Or executor or whatever. Words.
Things got a little grim there.
It the sorry the rules are laid out for me to enforce, so I felt like that was one that I had to move forward with. Like I said, I absolutely hated, and my skin was crawling for days around that choice. So it was not something I enjoyed.
Well, I can certainly vouch for, just how heavy of a decision it was for you. It was one of the first calls you made, I think, after, the meeting you had, just because I have to book umpires and the bracket
Sure.
had changed. And so
Sure.
we needed to communicate that out to the umpires who were working, that weekend. But I could tell you were just personally a little bit shaken,
Yep.
so I know heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? And
Sure.
some of those decisions have to be made, but I will vouch for you that, this wasn't one that you made lightly, and certainly there was no ad hominem
Sure.
attack or anything behind it. I think it ultimately just boils down to we have our rules. It needs to be clear cut. It needs to be black and white. Otherwise, we're going to live in the gray for all time.
Sure. And to respond about the kind of me being the sole person in this, it is one of those things where I bounced the concept off of a lot of people, both in the league, or in the executive committee, and amongst the league itself, and some comments from outside the league kind of drew us to that conclusion as well. So it wasn't just a kind of me choice. It was there were maybe avenues we could have taken other than that, but it was the fair choice for everybody involved.
Well, I appreciate you weighing in on it. Appreciate Steve coming and
Yeah,
sharing
thank you.
his truth, for sure. Happy to have a platform to be able to do that for teams when it comes to it. Doesn't always have to be negative. If you've got something else to share, we'd love to hear from any team, any player. So, reach out and let it be known. But go ahead.
I do have one other thing about Eden Prairie. He's absolutely right about the is it McCracken or Kraken? McCracken. I don't know if it's his kid or a kid on the bench, but I went to one game and that kid was electric. Just Kraken every time he came out on the mound. He was just electric. So I think, oh man, that kid, gold star.
Release the Kraken.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome. I love it. And yeah, he is a real deal. So looking forward to seeing some of the pieces they unveil next year. But all right. That aside, give me your reaction to the first playoff weekend as commissioner. How did it go? What were your thoughts?
I think overall the schedule worked out pretty well. Friday was our rain day that ended up kind of being a nothing burger. Hopefully, at least that was my interpretation of it. We had enough field times and locations that we were able to buffer the storm, so to speak. And I think it went quite well in my opinion, timing wise, everybody around. I do want to tell everybody that we are looking at enhancing that feel and that experience for everybody, be it Big Willow, Haddocks, or Alley Magnet. Like we're always looking at ways to improve that. Be it 2 umpires, be it the lights at Haddocks actually getting turned on. So sorry about that last night.
It's a big one.
I had lots of calls in, so I'm sorry. Also, just improving the environment. Big Willow is fine. It doesn't have the concession stand. It doesn't have the vibe that all the other fields have. So we are trying to find another better solution for that. So I do want to make sure everybody knows that we're moving in a good direction. I hope so, and we're always open to suggestions and comments on that. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing I feel is very true of you, that you're very open to, you know, what is best for the league and hearing those opinions, and just not ruling, you know, from your throne, you know, as commissioner, and involving people in those discussions. And, come on. All right, just executive producer doing executive producer things. We're good. Thank you very much.
As far as the brackets, how they shaked out, can I just one team that I want to throw out there as like my favorite team right now is the Silverbacks. I love their story and I love the path that they're going through the whole thing. That is my favorite story so far. So get out there and win the whole thing.
Wow. Some might not be very excited to see that. I've got some JT's folks who, wouldn't like that very much.
So just in general, I think the brackets have gone really well. It's showing the depth of each team. It's not showing the best team. It's showing where's that second, third tier level of each team at. And that's, I think, the purpose of this tournament, and the purpose of the way we have this formatted is to not showcase just the top end. It's showcasing the team as a whole. I know we all have lives. We all have commitments outside of Federal League baseball. We have softball. We have baseball that we're coaching. So during the season, I know you all can't show up, but at this time of year when everybody starts actually arriving, committing to it, and having that top team there, it is so fun to see the outcomes actually shake out. And I think they're shaking out the way they should. And I really enjoy this season. You know, playoff hockey, playoff baseball, everything with playoffs just sharpens up so well, and it's so fun to watch and be a part of. So thank you to everybody in the league for competing and putting your best foot forward.
Well, there you go. The commissioner, Cliff Christopherson.
Thank you.
And I love what Cliff's going there for some of the parity, because I think parity in this league is very important, right? And I think that's what makes the NFL so great, is because you can have a team that goes from missing the playoffs to winning the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, and I think as we get into the bracket, and we've talked about it at nauseum pretty much this year, but having people in the same space, hearing others say it, the middle of the league has gotten a lot fatter, a lot sturdier, and so the fringes are becoming fewer and further between. So, and I'm sure once we get into the A bracket, even B, you'll see some familiar names, and you're like, man, what the heck? So, and plus the scores that went on this weekend. So I think we're onto something. He's right. Things are leveling off, and everything's just more interesting these days.
Yeah, but to continue on to that, somebody that can make a jump from A to double A or B to double A, I think is just so great for this league. We'll talk a little bit more about parity when it comes to champions and their odds. But any more comments before we get kind of into the review?
No, I think we've made up enough things to say. We can just get into the data right now.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the weekend that was. We'll start with the big boy bracket with the AAA. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the games there. We'll cover some of them a little bit deeper than others, but obviously out at Alley Magnet to have the playoff. We had to have the play in. We had the 4 play in games. 4 of those winners went up to AAA. 4 of them went down to AA. And honestly, things sorted out pretty well in terms of those winners. The play-in winners that went to the AAA didn't have as much success maybe in the first round that they were hoping to. The losers who went down to the AA seem to have a lot of success. So it just feels like that line of demarcation didn't change a whole lot there in terms of who made what. The only upset in the play-in round is the Elko Chuggers, the Apple Valley A's. Not even sure that's really an upset when you're looking at an 8-9 game and a team that was absolutely loaded up with town ball players and former major leaguers. But they were very good. I was expecting, I still am expecting a ton of great things out of them in the AAA. Their first game in the AAA didn't go according to plan. They lost 10-0 to the Minoka Grays, the 3-time defending champions. A little bit of controversy when it came to the umpiring in this one. The game was 0-0 in I believe in the 4th inning. Close play at second base. Didn't go the Chuggers' way. They're very outspoken about their opinion of that, as was some of the fan base. Pitcher ends up getting tossed in that game. They have to throw in a pitcher who they weren't expecting to throw that day. Things went south in a hurry. It only took 5 innings from that point for the Grays to tack up 9 more and ended up winning that game 10-0. Elko not done yet. We'll get to the losers bracket here in a minute. Next game we want to highlight the Rosemont Pipers and the Hastings Hurricanes. Hastings struggle in the postseason continue. They get absolutely slaughtered by the Pipers, 16-6. It was rough. It was rough by all accounts. It was a poor effort. They looked flat. They didn't throw Pfeffer. I mean, all weekend. We'll cover that too a little bit more. But maybe they had some guys out of position, out of place. But rough weekend for Hastings yet again.
Every time we do a preview of something, you seem to have all these different 3 roadmaps to the one way we can get. And I feel like when you're a team that's had as much success as they have in the regular season, and convincingly, by the way, it's not like they're just eking by anybody. When it doesn't translate to the postseason 2 years in a row, now you're starting to overthink a lot of things. What are we going to do? So I don't know what went into that. I'm sure Tuckner, if you asked him, he'd probably have 30 minutes to fill in for you if you needed it. But it's a story developing down there. But yeah, Elko making an appearance and then making noise right away.
Next game in the first round there was the East Metro Mammoth and the St. Louis Park Snappers. The Mammoth had a big inning. I believe it was the 3rd. They threw up a 4 spot against Charlie Rude. He was absolutely dealing in that game. Ran into a little bit of trouble in that inning, but was able to work his way out of it. Matt Germar came in relief. Was fantastic for a couple innings. This game goes extras, goes into the 9th, 4-4, bottom of the 9th, over on Bob Bunnell, and Tom Corcoran calls game.
Heard of the guy. Well, the home run king has been pretty quiet the last, 2-3 years, pretty inconspicuous. So he just likes to show up and do his thing and make sure everyone knows he's still around.
He got all of it. Actually, believe it or not, I believe he was kind of on his front foot a little bit on that and just kind of willed that thing out of there. Maybe it has something to do with that Delano bat he uses. I don't know, but
that's an off-season topic we have to talk about. The deli bats. Let's clip that right now. We're talking about that this winter. Anyways, let's move it.
It's in the radar. It's on the radar. It's on the radar. But yeah, Grill goes in that one. He was fantastic. Snappers, a really tough team, still in this thing. Going to be a tough out down the road here. But yeah, an absolute blast. Tom Corcoran says, "Get on my back," and ends that one in the bottom of the 9th, just like we've all done in our backyard 1,000 times. So congrats to him and the Mammoth on that first round win. Last game in the first round there, the Minnetonka Saints and the Newmarket Northerns. Saints were pretty heavy-handed in this one. They win that game 8-3.
Yeah, everyone's been waiting to see once they get there because they've been pretty convincing as far as their success this year. What's it look like in the playoffs? And I mean, start out hot. Newmarket's always kind of a wild card depending on what they bring, and so you kind of going in uneasy that first round. So it's got to feel good for those guys to start out on the right foot like they expected to, and you kind of take a little bit of the edge off, and then you just start to play baseball after that. And I think that's what they're good at. So.
Look out for the Saints. It was a good weekend for the West, all in all. But we'll continue to cover that. Flipping down into the losers bracket, continuing with that West theme, the Elko Chuggers play the Hastings Hurricanes. Chuggers win this one 6-1. They didn't have a lot of their horses this weekend, but they still managed to hold serve and stay alive in this tournament. The Express schedule going to play a big factor in what kind of team we see out of the Chuggers going forward. They have another game next Sunday, I believe it is. So that certainly could enter in, but the Chuggers are going to have a tough game coming up. We'll cover that, but Elko over the Hastings Hurricanes 6-1. Other game in the losers bracket, the St. Louis Park Snappers over the Newmarket Northerns 9-7. Snappers made this one tough. They brought the Northerns back in a few times, but both the Hastings Hurricanes and the Newmarket Northerns 2-Q this year.
One, you could say, well, you never know. It depends on what do they got going. What do they got going on this weekend? And then, but man, Hastings, we've been talking about like how that they're just, it's got to be eating at least a few of those guys up alive. So, yeah, it's tough, but you know what? The competition in this league, I mean, as we get further down, you never know what to expect. You can't count on anything these days anymore. You can't say, oh, we made it to the first weekend, we can get a win and get to the second weekend. It's not like that anymore. So plenty of time to think about it, though.
That's true. You got it all off season now, but obviously a lot of talent up in this AAA bracket. Maybe the game of the weekend, though, was the Rosemount Pipers taking on the Minoka Grays. Pretty universal for the league.
Minoka. Sorry, I'll.
Pipers win this one 3-1. Cliff was absolutely brilliant from what I hear in this game. Jack was great as well. Low scoring, kind of came as advertised. Minoka made some mistakes on the base pass. And don't get it twisted. Minoka love their guys. So many of us do. They are just competitors. They work hard at this. The way that they keep their core together is super admirable. And I feel like if they were in the camp of not having any AAA wins, I would wear a Minoka Grays jersey to some of their games and root for them. But given the fact that they're the 3-time defending champions, I couldn't be happier.
That was really bold, man.
I would, man. They're great dudes. I think they do everything the right way.
Yeah.
They're easy to root for as human beings. They're great human beings. Joey is one of the best talents and game thinkers, that it comes to. But a lot of people excited to see the Pipers beat the Grays in this one. The other matchup in this bracket in the second round was Minnetonka Saints and the East Metro Mammoth. Grill, after throwing 9 innings the night before, comes back, writes his name down on the lineup card again to go in this one. Saints took advantage early, throw up a crooked number in the first inning, and don't look back. Brandon Casadecalvo was unbelievable in this one. Kept the Mammoth really off the base pass most of the game, and Saints come away with the win 5-2.
I'm telling you, those Saints are leveling off a little bit. They've had that one year where they kind of just hopped up there. It was kind of a surprise. Second, they're in year 3. They're settled in. I think they know who they are, and they're just going to roll with what they got. And, I mean, they're deep as hell.
Last 2 games we got to cover quick. Well, no, we've covered all the results. So we've got the preview of second weekend that we'll get into. But let's go ahead and flip down to the action in the AA. This one started with a game between the Apple Valley A's and Cliff's favorite, the St. Croix Valley Silverbacks. I'll tell you what. Thanks, Cliff. The Silverbacks were a lot. I mean, they were more than we expected. They have a lefty, Brandon. Help me with his last name, anybody? Walzak. I got to remember that because he was a great pitcher. He was firm. He had a good mix. And add another lefty top tier arm to your arsenal if you didn't know about him already, because he is a real deal too.
We're talking AA?
Yep, AA.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Chris.
No, sorry. You're talking Silverbacks? Apparently my brackets are mislabeled. Hold on.
Well, The A's win this one. They walk them off in the bottom of the seventh. 3 2-out hits, 3 consecutive 2-out hits allowed them to advance to the bottom of the seventh. Josh Stoll throws the complete game in that one, so that was fun to do.
Hey, can we get a sign off from everybody who watches this so he can just say I? Because I know you talk about the A's as an outsider looking in, and you talk about you as an outsider.
You got to
looking
go
in.
third party on the bet. You got to go third party.
But when it's just you and I sitting on a web stream, it's like it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no,
that's my
I
problem.
get how that hits different. Next game to cover in this one, Tonka Bay versus the Lakeville Bulldogs. Another game that went 9 innings. A couple of home runs in this one. A really, I won't call it controversial, but a weird play nonetheless. Runners on first and second in the eighth. Line drive back to Jim Brower. He ends up catching the line drive in the air, and his glove momentum kind of carries down into the mound, puff of dirt. The runners think that it hit the dirt first into the glove, ends up in a triple play, an inning triple play. The second consecutive year the Lakeville Bulldogs hit into a triple play in a tight game. Tonka Bay comes away with the win. Brower goes the distance. They win this thing 4-2.
Man, that's something like, well, I can't even imagine what that ump had to listen to for the duration of that game, because of course there's only one behind the plate, and if there's any hezzy at all, there's 3 guys out there have already made their reaction. So it's a no-win for everybody the way things are set up. And it's just a tough break, but it's a Fed break. That's the way the Fed is. I mean, ask anybody. I mean, there's half a dozen of these plays a year that are liable to swing things one way or another. And it's just the Fed. So, I mean, it does stink, and it's kind of a weird way for those guys to get dinged with an L, but, you know.
I think it helped having Jim Brower, the ultimate integrity source. He said he caught it. I think that was enough for Lakeville to know that he caught it. So there wasn't a lot of controversy, like I said, kind of in the play, but just an unfortunate turn of events that really changed the course of that game. Tonka Bay ends up winning that 4-2. Next game was the Loons and the St. Paul JTs. Loons come out on top of this one, 8-7. They elect to kind of save some pitching. They go with Andy Pass, who I heard was really great. Andy didn't throw game 1. Bougie throw game 1? Did Andy finish it? Andy didn't go at all game 1. Bad info. See, this is why we do this live, right?
Yeah.
Love, you want to come up and talk about it? Let's do it. Come on, Nick. Come on up, man. We've got Nick Love from the St. Paul JTs in the house. He's going to give us a little bit of a recap on how this thing went down.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Want to rehash all my losses if we have enough time. Thank you.
Yes.
No, it was a great game. Bujold started. He went, I don't know, 5 maybe or so. And then I think they went to Jeff Holm.
Okay.
Andy and I were chatting at first base. Same thing last year. I told him, hey, as a reminder, we did this last year, and I told you I suck at lefties. And the next inning, you brought in a lefty, and kind of mowed us down. It was a great game. Went back and forth. We put up 4, I think, in the 4th or 5th. Tied it up. It was an exciting inning. Excuse me. And then they scored on the next bottom half, and that was it.
Well, thank you for the recap.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being on Fed Up and in attendance here at the TAP Society.
That's a lot better than you and I just trying to
I
make
know.
shit up.
I mean, if we
What
could have
happened?
one
What happened? I don't
representative
know.
for one game, I mean, this thing would go so much smoother.
Well, you know, Derek Marks obviously threw well, and then no, we're just making it up. That was nice.
So Loons come out on top, 8-7. JT's dropped down into the loser bracket after that first game, but tons of close games throughout the double A bracket all weekend long. Last one to cover from the first round there was the Waconia Islanders versus the RC Rockets. We've got some Rockets members here as well. I know Craig Meyer did start in that one. I know my information's good there. Craig and I played together a few times. He's absolutely a fantastic pitcher with great control. Waconia ends up winning this one 8-5. Ends up being the most lopsided game of the weekend in the double A, if that tells you anything about how close some of those teams were stacked up. But Waconia moves on, drop the Rockets down into a matchup with the St. Paul JTs that we can cover right now. This game was extremely back and forth. The Rockets kind of had it in hand for most of the game. Starter in that one for the Rockets was JB. Help me out. Who'd you start in that game? Yeah, Paul Johnson went in that one. He's got a little bit of that sidearm delivery. No, that's not right. That's Colin. Paul was great. I did the PA in this game, so I was there. I saw it. Paul was fantastic. He went probably a 5 1/3, somewhere in there, 6 1/3, before giving way to Colin Warren. Rockets, like I mentioned, had control for most of the game. JTs end up getting 2 on a double into the left field corner to tie it in the bottom of the 6th. And from there, Rockets unable to score in the 7th. JT's able to come out and throw across that winning run. Warren, they bring him in with 1 out and a couple runners on in the bottom half of the 7th. Little floater over the second baseman ends up bringing in the game-winning run. And pandemonium ensued on the JT side. Rockets 0-2 this year, but unbelievable season for the Rockets. I think that is one team for sure that the trajectory is going up, pun intended.
Yeah. I will say, as a member of the South Metro Saints, as a guy that on a team that's been trying to just make the next step to whatever that is, watching the JTs and the Rockets just just leapfrog us was super fun. So, but rooting for them at the same time, because it's nice to see. I mean, we have a lot of commonalities, so it's nice to see guys or birds of a feather kind of making noise up there. So good for them. Rooting for the JTs coming into the weekend.
We'll get to that
Okay.
certainly in the week 2 preview. And one last game here to cover in the loser bracket in the AA. The St. Croix Valley Silverbacks took on the Lakeville Bulldogs, and the Silverbacks prevail. Bergstrom goes for them in game 2.
Man, this was a surprise. I gotta say, we were kind of unwinding from the weekend, and all of a sudden, this news just came across last night, and we're like, I gotta say, everybody in the parking lot did one of those. So, Silverbacks, there's something there, and it's gonna be. I mean, you can't think about it. I don't think you look into it too much for Burnsville, but gotta say that was probably the most surprising result of the weekend.
For the Lakeville to go from the play-in to out in 5 days certainly surprised a lot of people. Probably didn't disappoint a lot of people either, if we're being honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, combining 2 teams and failing to make the AAA, going 0-2 in the AA, certainly a disappointment for those guys. Yeah, I'm not sure who threw for them over the weekend. I know I believe Austin Mitchell was going to go game 2. Last I had talked with some of their members. I know Lowen threw game 1, threw really well. Obviously, when you're going toe to toe with Brower, you have to. But yeah, it's a surprising result nonetheless, and a disappointing one, I'm sure, for Lakeville fans.
Yeah, and but I feel like the rest of the audience has been like, well, we've heard about Lakeville for years. Let's celebrate the fact that these. I feel like the Silverbacks have been kind of cast off as the other River Falls team. The River Falls, the Groupers are a sexy team when they have their guys in place, and they've made noise in AAA, AA, wherever they've been put. So they're often the forgotten about team in that division. So it's good for them to get some new guys in and get some fresh energy there, because yeah, it's good to see.
Silverbacks are younger, they're deeper, they're on Game Changer now, they are on X now. I mean, they are. Hey Ben, how are you? They are absolutely turning a leaf there, and I know a lot of people are excited about that. Always like to see new teams kind of coming up and getting themselves into the mix. Flipping over to the second round into the AA, the Apple Valley A's took on the Tonka Bay Lakers. This one was as advertised. Tim Scott took on Brandon Wolf. Runs were at a premium. Lakers actually out-hit the A's in this one, but Tim Scott was wonderful. He worked himself out of so many jams. A's win 3-1 and put themselves in the driver's seat to potentially three-peat as AA champions.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of us were wondering what the play-in game, what it would look like after the play-in games took place on Wednesday. Us that didn't have the fortunate opportunity to be part of them, and to see what happened, and then on Wednesday and see you guys slid in a double A. Knew when you had Tim Scott at the ready that you guys are bound to make a run, and it looks like you guys are doing so.
The other game in that winter bracket, last one to cover here in the Double A, was the Metro Loons versus the Waconia Islanders. This one was tight the whole way. Waconia is threatening the bottom half of the seventh. They actually had the tying run on third, winning run on second, unable to get that last hit. The Loons, though, their brand of baseball is new as well. I feel like this year they are keeping teams to a manageable run total. They are still hitting the ball a ton. They've told me they've left a lot of runners on base this year. But when you have guys like Holm now in this lineup, Julian Oviedo, a healthy Ryan Hess, I mean, these guys can still obviously mash. Now you throw in a high A pitcher who was at the Phillies organization like Nichols, and this team is absolutely dangerous.
I feel like for the longest time, their crux has been defense, as we've talked about, and their pitching. They've always been able to hit their, I call them like team slugging percentage. They just hit gap to gap, and so to have another arm besides Buji there to just kind of take the tension or pressure off, because he does a lot for them already. So just to have another guy, and oh, by the way, you're right, he's a dog. So I think that's exactly what the doctor ordered for those guys, and you're kind of seeing it start to materialize.
Flipping down to our A bracket, we had our darlings, the Northfield Millers, taking on the Chaska Voyagers, the newly promoted 8th seed in the single A. Chaska pulls the upset in that one. They end up winning this game 12-7 over the Northfield Millers.
All right, sorry whoever's watching this bracket is wrong on this, so I'm just gonna scrap it. There we go.
Okay, the graphic is gone. Voyagers, yeah, I mean, pulled the upset, 8 over the 1. You don't see it a ton in a lot of these brackets, regardless of class. Able to throw up a ton of runs on Northfield. I was a little bit surprised by that result.
Yes, we were also. I mean, a lot of people were surprised about Northfield at the same time, like just seemingly to the untrained eye, coming out of nowhere and sneaking in there. I think you kind of saw maybe they just got hot, at the right time of the year and got their way into the mix. But you know what it's like after you go on a run late in the season, and all of a sudden, okay, weekend comes. Are we lined up? You use a lot of energy getting back into the mix too. So it was good to see them. Like we celebrated them last week, but yeah, the Voyagers are a veteran team, and they have a lot of guys that are plenty familiar and know how things go in this setup. So good win for them.
Looking at some of the results across all 4 brackets, it starts to lend to a narrative that the South might be a little overrated. I'm not saying it's definitive, but just looking at some of the results, the South had a really, really, really rough first weekend. Hastings 0-2 in barbecue, Lakeville 0-2 in barbecue, Northfield as the 1 goes down. Lonsdale still there fighting with a death grip on that B bracket, but up and down the bracket, the South did not have a very good weekend.
Fair. I feel like in years past, they probably have built up the body of work to say, hey, this is a freak thing. If you go division, we were talking about, that's funny you bring it up, because last night the East, from the outside looking in, it's the Mammoth and then everybody else, right? To see how the East fared across all divisions all brackets this weekend was kind of surprising. And then that's the first place your eyes go is who all lost, and Hastings, Lake or Burnsville. You're not used to, they used to be able to count on Lakeville being there doing something, right? And then Hastings just needs to figure it out. So yeah, I'm not gonna go as far as that, but it was just a unique weekend as far as the South Division is concerned.
For the record, I didn't officially go there either.
No, you did. You told me you
were
were. You told them
I
the
said it
South was
lends to a
overrated.
narrative. It lends to a narrative. the next game to cover in the A bracket, one that you participated in, the South Metro Saints all over the St. Anthony Norsemen 14-4.
And my buddies or the guys on my team say I'm not, or they give me proper shit for not saying talking about our team.
Okay.
I will say we've had a lot. We had all lined up before the year, and pitching injuries just dinged us right out the gate. So I'm glad we were able to put something together, and we actually had our A squad there for the first time all year this weekend, 2 games. So
Well, and we'll get into it, but you guys absolutely in the driver's seat to continue that. Surprised me to no end that St. Anthony had the effort they did this weekend. I thought they were kind of putting it together. They had wins late in the season over Apple Valley, over Tonka Bay. I thought they'd have a stronger showing in the postseason. Next game here, River Falls Groupers versus the Rockford Rail Splitters. Dogfight, 1-run game. Groupers come away with the win. Rockford's season continues to go not the way they envisioned.
it's weird. I feel like they just keep getting dinged, but still survive just on how good they are and just know how to fight back when they're backed up against the wall. They're fighting the same thing everybody else is with guys here and there. I don't know what their weekend availability look like, but the groupers when they show up are tough. So
St. Michael played the Milltown Outlaws, another rough one for the South. St. Michael ends up winning this game 6-2. Sean Model was absolutely brilliant from what I'm told. Story continues. The Angels, when he goes, are pretty good. When he doesn't, it's another story. But
well, we get to face them next week, so
keeping
I don't want to go.
No
I don't
bolts
want to
aboard
go over.
material.
Just throw a whole division, say they're overrated or anything like that. So I'm just say I'm a fan of St. Michael.
Millers in the loser bracket eliminate St. Anthony. They go 0-2 barbecue. Northfield moves on. They will go on the strength of an 8-1 victory there. Rockford also eliminated Milltown in a game that was really low scoring. Not much in the typical history of fashion of the Rockford games, but 2-0 was the final in that one. That would bring us to the conclusion of, well, we didn't do the winter games. So your team played another one. Do you remember that?
I was there.
You guys blanked the Voyagers 5-0. Do you remember that?
I mean, between the two of us, I think we could piece it together if we really needed to. If they needed to hear how 5-0 happened.
Who threw for you?
For us, Adam West, Grant Shera.
Batman and Shera combined on the shutout.
Yes.
Well, I mentioned you guys absolutely a stranglehold now on that A bracket, looking really sharp. Your next opponent, we'll get into the preview, but St. Michael ends up beating the Groupers 10-3. Heard that this one from the Groupers was not close, not competitive at all at any point.
I don't know who they had, but when you can just tell when they got it. When the Groupers got it, you can tell, and when they don't, you can tell. And it just sounds like it was one of those weekends.
Well, St. Michael will not give up the defense of that A bracket very easily, but let's flip down to the B. We got a couple of games to highlight here. We got the Lonsdale Jokers all over the cannon, 6-4, not all over. I'll take that back, Chris. Yeah, my bad. Lonsdale, the 1-8 game, very close, 6-4. The Jokers prevail. They will take on the Bloomington Biscuits, who were able to beat the Cannon Valley Kings 9-8. Another close game.
No kidding. I don't know.
Say again. What's his last name? Alex Falvey. First career home run in that game against the Jokers for the Capital City Cannons.
Look at that.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Thank you for jumping the shark there. So he's a Biscuit, Svalby. All right. Well, look for your name on the end of the year. These guys hit a home run. You can see your name right next to Tom Corcoran's on that list. But so Biscuits advanced 9-8. They send the Cannon Valley Kings down to the losers bracket. Diamonds victorious.
Hey, there you go.
I love seeing it. A close matchup. I think honestly this B bracket is probably the best charm about our playoff structure these teams who had a rough 18 games, right, get to compete on a relatively level footing against some other teams that had some pretty rough regular season. But now they get a chance to put it together. They have a chance to win a couple of games, have a chance to bring home some hardware, playing some tight games, feel that pressure. I love our playoff structure so much, mostly because of this bracket.
If I were on a team that started out in B before the weekend and I saw Lonsdale in there, I'd probably go to the cabin for the weekend because I'm like, what are these guys doing down here? So the fact that it was interesting regardless that there's a double A, triple A team flirting around down there, is awesome. Let's look at that game 4 score. Holy cow, that last one of the first round.
St. Patrick Shamrocks end up scoring a couple of touchdowns in this one. Vesely does get a 2-point conversion late to make it a little bit closer, but the final of this game, 24-15. Rip up your ticket if you were on the under in this game. Absolute run fest. I don't even know. I want to know what happened.
This is a question for maybe not. I don't know. I'm sure maybe some of these guys like ump games and stuff like that. When you're doing when you know you're doing old guy games, it's got to be there's a mental mindset. You go, okay, these guys are either going to be really over the top and a bit much or whatever. When you're signing up to do the B bracket and you're there for my math isn't that good.
39 runs.
40 runs. That I'd like to have a beer with that guy after, or actually the day after, and watch him just waddle around. I'd like to hear everything he has to say about it.
I'd love to know how many pitchers were used. I would have thought Angus maybe went for that for the Vulcans, and I mean he's a fine pitcher. I know Shamrocks have a couple of guys that can throw it well too, but 39 runs, obviously an eye opener in that one. St. Patrick able to move on to the second round. Down in the losers bracket, the Capital City Cannons get on the board this year.
Sorry, that was loud.
They go 0-18 in the regular season, but they beat the Cannon Valley Kings, send them home in their inaugural season in the Fed. But they have their first win, and they are still in pursuit of defending that B championship.
I'll tell you what, I think Kalina was pissed that they changed their outfit from Red Wing to Cannon Valley, because it's whip them out, measure them, the Battle of the Cannons. Round 1 goes to you guys. All right.
So it's the Capital City Cannons over the Cannon Valley Kings. Cannons kings of that matchup. They win that game 8-5. We've got the winning pitcher in the room with us as well. So fantastic to have the Cannons well represented here. Mustangs turn around and eliminate the Vesely Vulcans in that game as well. So 12-5 was the final of that one. Vesely 0-2, another slight for the Southern Division. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I'm not gonna pile on right now.
Are we losing subscribers? Check your subscribers.
Hey, man, it's a tough weekend for the South. I mean that's all it is.
Yeah, it is. You know? And I mean, one weekend obviously doesn't define an entire division, but yeah, it's just something we have to point out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we are going to transition from our review to our preview. We've got a ton of Claude insights again. I mentioned from Mike Wickman, and these things are absolutely fire. So
Stat Boy Claude.
Yeah, he's named himself Stat Boy Claude, not Mike. Claude has named himself Stat Boy Claude. So
Stat Boy Claude doesn't listen to Mike's. So
no, he's his own entity, his own person, his own. And again, we're all just a couple of clicks away from being replaced. So, all right, I'm gonna get those up. All right. So this thing, I mean, I don't know what kind of prompts you put into this, Wickman, but it's absolutely amazing to get the level of insight, the level of detail, the percentages. I will vouch for Wickman too that it predicted all 4 playing games correctly. It predicted Elko over the A's. It predicted all 3 of the other favorites to advance. So this isn't Chris and Josh prognosticating anymore. This is AI intelligence coming at you with some real numbers, some real stats. So let's go ahead and look at the preview for Thursday. We've got the AAA bracket in action. First game at Rich Vanderlyn Field. Minoka Grays taking on the St. Louis Park Snappers. Of course, the Snappers, one of 2 teams this year to beat the Minoka Grays. Claude has the Grays at 76% to win this one, but he hedges his bets a little bit by saying that this could be a good chance to fade the defending champs.
Look, when it's easy to say just looking from at their numbers and all this stuff, guys like that are used to it. Oh, Ben's sitting right in the middle,
Yeah.
right in front, right in the middle. When you're used to winning like that at the clip that they do, I'm telling you, even guys on bad teams when they lose, they start to panic, over panic. It'll be interesting to see what the pregame vibe is during ins and outs is as we head into Saturday or whatever day is it? What day is it?
Thursday night.
Thursday.
Thursday
Holy, I was
night.
way off. All right. So I'll be there Thursday, getting an emotional gauge on everybody. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's just different. It really is. Like if you're Minoka and you've just won whatever you've wanted basically for 3 years, and you get dinged early on weekend one, you tell me. You think? I think they're.
If there's a team built to come back to the losers brackets, obviously the Grays. They lose 5-1 back on May 31st to the Snappers. Answer back with a 19-2 victory in July. Players to watch, we've got one of them right here, Ben Schroeder, with a 0.29 ERA. He's allowed 1 earned run all season.
Gee.
So Claude says if he's on the mound, this is close to over before it starts. That's what Claude says.
Hey, I'm sure a lot of people in the North would vouch for that too.
I'm glad to have this straw man here to kind of pass off some of these controversial takes off on.
Yeah.
Another player to watch in that one, obviously Joey Olson, hitting 685 this year. He was our batting title winner. Joey, an unbelievable season. 37 runs scored, 18 stolen bases. On the Snappers side, obviously they've got a lot of arms that they can choose from. They've got Bennett Johnson, Charlie Roode, Pete Fuller, 3 guys who had an ERA under 1 this year. They might use a combination of all of them in this matchup. And then Hollywood, Trevor Stolhansky hitting 404 with 21 RBI. He's definitely going to be a player to watch in this one. But again, Claude has the Grays at 76% to advance past the Snappers.
I will say I think there's something to be said about a good team that knows a team well enough, like the Snappers know them well enough, where they're not phased by the sky blue little fog that they got, the aura they got going on. So they know them, and they've played against them a million times, and they have the horses to beat them. So I don't think they're going to go into this weekend on their heels at all, and it'll be a good matchup.
The other matchup that kicks off just before that, the Mammoth taking on the Elko Chuggers. Claude has this one at the Mammoth at 73%. The leading Mammoth, if Grill goes, of course he will. I mean, Grill goes darn near all the time. Grill, an unbelievable year, 8-1 with just over 2 ERA. He's got 8 complete games in 9 starts, not counting the postseason. They mentioned Tom Corcoran with a 1.2 slugging percentage. They call him the walk-off hero who only played in half of the games this season. But it does mention the Mammoth now at full strength. Division-winning champions in the East. They're taking on, though, an Elko team. I think it might help Elko that it's happening on a Thursday night. I mean, we played them in that playoff game last Wednesday, and they brought everybody. They had 18 guys in the dugout.
I was going to say, weren't they dealing with the town ball experience last weekend? And I don't know what kind of effect that has moving forward. But as long as they survive that weekend, you don't know what you're getting when you come to Thursday.
Patricia threw 2 innings against us. He wanted to throw a bullpen, he said, so that was his live bullpen. I'm telling you, I know how people like to pump up velo, and I know, that everyone throws 90 in this league. He does. He is all of 90, and when he got mad when he was getting squeezed, he was more. I'm telling you, he was 90, 92. It's unbelievable. If there's some universe that he goes in this game, look out for the Mammoth. They could be on the brink of elimination.
Extinction?
It was right there and I missed it. I love it. Thank you for your insights and your talents and your gifts. Other games in action on Thursday night is our B bracket. The St. Patrick Shamrocks will take on the Capital City Cannons. Claude has this one. This game taking place out at Red Haddocks in Bloomington at 7:30. Claude has this one, I'm sorry to report, Kalina, at 83% in favor of St. Patrick. this also Claude also says this is your highest win percentage of the year to date, if that makes any difference to you. Claude's a jerk, man. Step by Claude.
Let's talk about St. Patrick for a second. Getting back in the mix, making it to
Yeah.
weekend too, man. Good for them.
Yeah, honestly, they're a great story. Continuing their run through the B. So players are watching this one. Curtis Enos. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Hitting 400 this year, an unbelievably reliable bat. Scored 24 runs for them this year. Yeah, I mean, Cannons are still on defense mode, right? It's their bracket until it's
It
not,
is theirs to lose.
right. It's
Yep.
theirs until it's not. So I like the Cannons' chances to at least have a good showing in this one and continue their defense of the B bracket.
Yeah, sure. Premium. Great. Yeah.
Accent for me when you're ready. Other game in the B, Minnetonka Mustangs taking on the Bloomington Biscuits. Biscuits, of course, recently rebranded as from the St. Paul Senators. This one, Claude calls very close to a true coin flip, 54% in favor of the Minnetonka Mustangs. This game taking place out at Big Willow. Probably, Claude calls it the least hyped game of the round, but it's worth a mention because the Mustangs obviously play their home games at Big Willow. It could factor in the fact that this is a little bit of a home game for the Mustangs.
You know that a home field advantage in playoffs is huge, especially weekend too, and in the B bracket.
Moving on to Friday, we have some AA and some single A games in action. We have the Waconia Islanders taking on the darling St. Croix Valley Silverbacks. Can't get over that because Cliff is just all over them. So it's a great story, but it could end this Thursday night. Claude has Waconia at 72% to win that game.
Look, Waconia was a slow start, struggling with guys till July. Rip up July, and I feel like midnight for the Gorillas isn't a thing, or I don't think that's a thing. But who knows? They might just have a guy just in the mix that's ready to deal and might get hot. So Waconia is so tough though when they decide they want to play.
I've never seen a silverback in a glass slipper, so I get the reference. I appreciate it. Brandon Walzak, 0.77 whip this year. Mentioned that he was absolutely legit. If you do not know that name, get to know it because it sounds like this guy's going to spend a little bit more time in the Fed coming up. So 18 Ks in just 13 innings this year for him, but on 6 days rest, gotta like the Silverbacks odds to at least to give Waconia a run.
You got to think the Silverbacks aren't saving anybody for the second game of the weekend here. They're going to bring who they got, and you never know. You're at the mercy of how hot that guy is, right? So
probably we see Craig Meyer going in this one for Waconia. Just a 1.22 ERA for Craig this year. He's got 3 saves. Really great pitcher. Mentioned I've played with him a number of times. Jim Altoff and Jeremy Salton, also players of note in that game, combined over 30 steals for the Islanders on the year. Andy Bertram, another player of note for the Silverbacks. But flipping down to the other game in the AA, it'll be the St. Paul JTs taking on the Tonka Bay Lakers. This game out at Alley Magnet at Rich Vanderlyn Field. Claude likes the Lakers in this one. He's got them at 62%.
When they first came in the league, I think at least I referred to them as the sexy new thing in the league, and I think I've said that. So I don't know if it's something on me or what, but I don't feel like a lot of people would have that huge of a problem if the JTs went on a little run and took care of them this weekend. That being said, they're tough. So I mean, it's anyone's guess, but depends on who shows up.
Well, the Lakers get their first win in playoff. Recent memory at least. I think they've gone 0-2 the last 2 or 3 years in the playoffs. So they do get a win. They do move on to the second weekend. Probably the story in this game is how fresh some of those arms will be. They've largely been carried by Brower, by Brandon Wolf. Brower throws 9 innings on Saturday. Wolf throws on Sunday. It's not going to be full rest. It'll be almost full rest for each of them. They'll have to choose who they want to go with in an elimination game. Both have been really, really, really good this year. So you got to think. I would lean maybe Brower. They go with in this one elimination game heading into the weekend. But we'll have to see. What they ultimately decide. Players of note to watch for the JTs. We've got Lucas Garner in here. Lucas, 2.94 ERA, low walk rate, strike thrower who fits a make them earn it game plan.
That's actually a great way to put it. Make Don't try to do too much. Just do your thing, stick to your game plan, and let the rest take care of itself.
He threw well over the weekend. He will have his hands full with that Tonka Bay lineup. They
Mhm.
are absolutely fastball feasters. They drive the ball all over the ballpark. When they are on, they can put the ball out of the ballpark. Other players to mention, Nick Love, and I see Mike's prompts have his own name in here. So Mike Wickman ends up making our players to watch in this one. 478 and 459 respectively. Nick Love, of course, being the 478. The JTs needed contact and traffic, not power, against this staff. So put that in your memory banks. The contact and traffic to give yourselves a shot.
All due respect, numbers aside, Mike Wickman's a fun guy to watch, regardless of numbers.
Great
just,
dude,
just
too.
look, just watch him.
Tried to bump for a hit too the other day. I loved it. I mean, what are you hitting the lineup, Wick? 3, 4, 3. You're a 3-hitter, lefty up there. You guys on base. You're expecting him to kind of shoot for a gap here. Nope. He does the team thing, gives one up, and tries to put one down. Almost worked too. It just rolled foul, but
Almost worked. Too,
yeah, it did. They had him. I personally like the Lakers in this one. I know from playing them a couple times this year that they are going to be a really tough out. And then obviously when you have guys of that ilk on the mound, they are going to be really difficult to beat. But JT's an unbelievable season. They continue to march on. Could continue into the second weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you make it to weekend 2 of the playoffs, regardless. I think it's most teams would say, "Hey, awesome," and I think they're playing with house money at this point. Them, the Silverbacks. Good luck to them. I mean, just stop throw everything against the wind or get everything out your pockets and just go play ball, man.
Well, the other bracket in play on Friday evening is the A bracket. These games will be out at Red Hot X and Big Willow as well. The River Falls Groupers almost crossed over the other side of town there. We'll take on the Northfield Millers. This one, a virtual coin flip. River Falls favored at 55%. Obviously, not even Claude knows who's going to show up and pitch for the Groupers, so I understand some of the hedging there. But some players who've had a really good year for the Millers. Aaron Rushing is a guy who deserves a mention. His pitching all year has been a major part of the story brand of why the Millers have been able to make the bracket that they have. Guys like Jake Pleshcourt and Sam Mouse, guys hitting 491, 440, respectively. So really a retooled offense there for the Millers, and would love to see that success continue personally.
No, absolutely. They kind of surprised everybody, and then by being or kind of sneaking in there, and I think they got dinged early. It was kind of a tough game or tough matchup early on, but making it to second weekend, I think, okay, now everything's kind of leveled off and they kind of know what to expect. I hope they go on a run because it would be a nice story for them to kind of build on for next year too.
Well, Claude calls out the Groupers for not having their pitching stats in there. So, Mr.
I think-
Commissioner,
To be fair, I think that's on the South Metro Saints manager, Wade Peterson, because I think Wade
was
their-
hired to enter in the
Wade-
Grouper
I think
stats.
Wade enters their stats for him.
Okay, well, breaking news here. Wade, get on your shit here.
Wade's very
We don't swear. This
he's
is a family-friendly
clerically
show.
savvy.
My apologies. Anyways, the other game in the A, the Rockford Rail Splitters taking on the Chaska Voyagers. This game out at Big Willow, obviously an elimination game. Rockford favored to win this one, according to Claude, 58-42. Claude does call the Voyagers the best momentum story left in this bracket. They started 0-8 on the year, finished 6-4, then upset the number 8 seeded Millers, which we've already covered. Rockford, wild swing game team in the eight bracket. They've got 17 run outputs and 17 run beatdowns, they call them, both on their resumes. There's been no in betweens for the Rail Splitters, at least in the regular season. So, Jekyll and Hyde, we'll see who shows up. I mean, this is a team, obviously, Rockford, that has been really competitive in the AA and AAA before. Find themselves down in the A, taking on the Voyagers team who knows how to win that bracket.
Experienced teams that I'm sure know each other very well, so it kind of lends itself to just naturally being a hang, disregard what the stakes are. So it's just basically Federal League weekend on repeat. But it'll be nice because that venue there and the people that are the group that of teams that are playing there, it's a fun little atmosphere, and it'll be fun to watch these guys.
Todd Haig, Casey Johnson, a couple players to keep an eye on for Rockford. Any insight on who's going to be on the mound? Dewey going to be available? All right, the options are being weighed. Still, no
being
spoilers
bounced
here
around.
for Rockford fans, unfortunately. But should be a great matchup. Obviously, an elimination game. Loser goes home. Winner continues the dream.
For another day or two.
That's
Yeah.
right. So we've got about we'll call it 3 minutes left here in the show. I just want to cover some of the overall odds for teams to win the brackets. I find this stuff pretty fascinating. So starting with the AAA. Well, we've got some games left to cover.
Do we have to?
No,
We could just talk about them after.
Nah, we'll just punt
Yeah.
them, right? All right, so we got to go a little bit longer than 3 minutes, but all right. My apologies to all the teams in the winners bracket because there's apparently some more games.
We'll talk about you next week.
Looking at the weekend, Rosemont Pipers take on the Minnetonka Saints. Should be a big one. The winner absolutely in position A to win this bracket. Claude has the Saints at 57% in this one. It does say, this is a direct quote from Claude Statboy Claude. He says, shade this towards the Pipers if Christopherson and Kackman are both rested, which they should be come Sunday's game, or after Sunday's game over the Grays.
I was gonna say, are you gonna be? Wait.
Christopherson, a 2.47 ERA this year in 5 complete games. They call him the man personally responsible for putting a death blow into the Grays' historic season. He's also hitting .571. So yeah, there it is. The theme of the night. Cliff, the Executioner, perhaps a new nickname. Saints have some great options. Casa de Calvo, Tommy Hanson, they're both undefeated on the year. CDC is 8-0. Tommy Hanson 6-0. I think the Saints are probably the most underrated complete team left. I mean, it just when you have the Grays and you have the Mammoth and guys who have been there and won this, the Saints have just been consistent the last couple of years. They mash the ball. They have great pitching, good defense. I've been all over the Pipers in recent history, and it looked like I was maybe a year early on them. But I think the winner of this game ends up being your AAA champion.
I think the one.
Yeah.
So I think the one thing that happens with the Saints is that they have a lot of guys, a lot of really good guys, but they don't have many of those guys that are just like, oh, that guy, I did that really loud into that mic. That was really weird. Okay. So they're a victim of, it's not the sexiest thing in the world when you're looking in, even though they're one loss on the season, whatever. But
And
they
one
are
tie.
so good.
Who was
They're
that
so-
lost to?
But they're one thing you don't think you underestimate is how everybody in their lineup barrels it. They don't give away at bats. They don't.
Yep.
It's a well put together outfit, and there's 20 guys in the dugout every week or every game, even on a weeknight.
Yep.
So
They bring the
they've got
energy.
something
They
going
have
over
good
there.
culture. They have great attendance. The guys are very, very committed.
Yep.
I mean, the middle of that order: Joe Collier, Jack Watson. I mean, whoever goes in that game for the Pipers is going to have their hands full, certainly.
8-5, 8-5, regardless of winner.
Prediction in the room from one of the Pipers: it'll be an 8-5 final. I think that's pretty astute.
Is this? You didn't just open this up on Kalshi too, you weirdo. Did you just? Is this a Kalshi thing? Are you trying to posture right now? All right.
Double A action. A's take on the Loons in the winner bracket. Claude has the A's at 52%. They call this a true coin flip. The A's, they identify 4 arms that could potentially go for the A's. I can tell you there's probably only one that will be considered. The Loons, probably, yeah. Loons, obviously, logic would contend that they're going to throw Chris Nichols. You know, a guy, again, I mentioned he was a high A ball player with the Phillies.
Unless they want to save him. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's a big game, but to go from Scott Wolf to Scott Nichols, it's going to be a fun game to watch. And I mean, buy your popcorn. And I just cannot believe the pitching in the Double A. I mean, this is supposed to be the worst bracket, and we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys bringing it 80 miles an hour plus.
And a team like a Loons that just is used to beating everybody up, but having to make sure where they have a buttoned up on the other side, for them to just have a guy there so they can just go do whatever, that's a luxury I'm sure they are more than happy to have this year.
Hopefully Ryan Hess can go in that one. He sat out Sunday's action with a knee injury, but hope to see Ryan available for that one. A action, South Metro Saints taking on the St. Michael Angels. They have you at 70% in this one. They say this is a trap seed thesis meets a hard luck summer. I'm not even sure what that means.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Was it a hard luck summer? Does that,
That
does that resonate?
That was a lot of syllables. What?
Trap seed thesis meets the hard luck
It
summer.
was a hard luck summer. Yeah. I mean, we got off to a fast start and ran into some things and kind of fell apart. I think legit went 0 for June or July. I can't remember, but we've found our footing, and so maybe you're right on that because we did have a positive run differential, which was still a surprise to me. But
Claude points that out. You're the only team in the A who actually outscored their opponents on the season. So the only one with a positive run differential. St. Michael just barely made the A based on the tiebreaker. They're just bumped out by those St. Croix Silverbacks. So I mean, this obviously a team that knows how to get it done in this division as the defending A champs. It is their bracket until it's not.
sure.
But Claude likes you guys' chances, not only in this game but the rest of the bracket. Wes Hansen, one of the players that is called out as a player to watch. Would you agree?
He's the easiest one to see. I watch him all the time. I love it. Yeah, I'd suggest it. It's a follow. I would take. Yeah, but no, he's just telling. I hate going on about our team because we have enough going on in our socials. But good. I'm glad we're rounding into form, and Wes is having a good year.
Well, good shout out there for South Metro Socials. If you're not a follower, pick them up because this stuff is hilarious. The Lonsdale Jokers will take on the Chaska Diamonds. Chaska Diamonds, and a great story, already matched their win total from the regular season in the playoffs.
All right.
Lonsdale, anyone with any knowledge of this league called them an overwhelming favorite to win this bracket from the very get-go. Claude certainly has a lot of knowledge on our league as well, as they have the Jokers at 70% to win this one.
Oh, I can't. I mean, the Diamonds make it to weekend 2, and I mean, so they got to be happy. But I mean, knowing that Lonsdale's liable to pull. I mean, if you pull their ace, just face it in B bracket play. That's kind of ridiculous. Good for the Diamonds actually putting together some momentum here, and yeah. The Lonsdale, I think, is basically just trying to ride this one out, make the best of it, do what they can with the year, and then try to build from there. But yeah, it's a daunting thing. I mean, if in single A, even in double A, if you're facing up against Lonsdale, it's like, okay, so no picnic.
Quick, I'm the overall percent to win the? Where is that? The overall percentage to win the bracket? I know I saw it. Overall percentage to win the brackets for the champions to win.
Oh, the audio.
Yeah. You got it? I swear I saw it from you. All right. I know I've seen it. If Wick pulls this up, it odds to win the bracket for yeah, here. I might have it here. Hold on. See, this is where editing would have come in handy. Yeah, I Gmail rolled it up into another one. All right, I think I've got it here. All right, here we go. All right, we're going to conclude our show with this. The updated title odds based on 20,000 simulations from live brackets states the following
Wait,
odds.
no, wait, say you're not just making that. This is
No.
Okay, these
No.
are the notes. Just making sure you're not just spitting
Updated
something.
title odds based on 20,000 simulations through AI from live brackets states. We'll start with the B. We'll roll up to the AAA.
Oh,
We'll go
can't wait-
backwards.
Can't wait.
All right.
Yeah.
They have the Cannons at roughly 0%. There you go. We got the double birds from Kalina going. Yeah. So nobody's giving you a chance. Put that on your bulletin board. Go out and defend your title. Let's go, Cannons.
I don't know if I've ever seen a bird, let alone two,
Yeah.
from that guy.
It says about 0%, so there must be some chance in there, right? Yeah. All right. The Shamrocks coming in at 1.5%.
Hey.
Biscuits not much better at 1.6. Mustangs just at 2.5. That leaves just a couple of teams. They're both in the winners bracket. Claude obviously favoring the teams who went 2-0 on the weekend. The Diamonds come in at 22%, which means the Lonsdale Jokers are 73%, according to Claude, to get this thing done. Claude's calling it over. Game's still got to be played on the field, but
And if Lonsdale doesn't pull this off, it's got to be monumental.
hey, pressure's on,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Mike Madison, Bert.
Good luck tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Pressure's on. All right. Rolling up to the single A, the Voyagers. If we start with the Voyagers, that's probably not very good news for the Chaska fans. It was about 0% for the Cannons. Significantly better odds for
I thought you were going to
guys.
say significantly worse. I'm like,
No, significantly better. You guys have a 1.3% chance to get this done, according to Claude. Miller's coming in at 2.6%. Rockford just 4%. Same with
wow,
River Falls.
Wow.
Obviously, just a massive.
So none of those teams can just go on a run, put two together. I get it.
But
It's tough.
I
It's tough.
think they're pointing to just how difficult the setup is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not only do you have to win the weekday game, you have to win 4 games in about 48 hours to get it done out of the losers bracket. I mean, if you are not 2-0 after weekend 1, your odds of getting this done are obviously next to none.
It sucks losing that first weekend, and this is the first time we've gotten out of it 2-0 since I've joined. So I don't know what this is supposed to feel like, but it's a lot better than trying to do whatever the hell we've done the last half dozen years.
Well, welcome to weekend 2.
Yeah, it's
South
great to be
Metro
here. It's great
Saints.
to be here. Yeah.
All right, so continuing on with that bracket, I mentioned River Falls, Rockford, both even at about 4%. The St. Michael Angels, the defending A champion, come in at 19%. Your South Metro Saints. You want to talk about pressure on the Jokers at 73%. You are 69%.
Oh, nice.
Compare.
Oh,
according to
nice.
Claude.
Perfect. Perfect. We'll get it done now. We'll get it done. It's perfect.
Rolling up to the Double A, Cliff's favorite, St. Croix Valley Silverbacks, just 0.5% to get this done.
I don't believe that.
They got to beat a really talented Tonka Bay team and then get hot. The JTs kind of in the same boat, less than 1%, 0.8. Hey, this is Wickman's prompts, all right? So take it up with him. Just 0.8 for the JTs. Tonka Bay, just 4%. I mean, you got former major leaguer and Brandon Wolf, and you're just getting a 4% chance. I gotta think that they're gonna have an issue with that.
You did just outline how rough of a road it is to get back, major leaguers or not, man. You know?
Well, I mean, you need more than two arms to
Yeah.
do it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Once you're there, you need to have a Ben
And you gotta-
Schroeder, a Jack Nelson, a Taylor Nelson, and a Bubba Ovis to be able to rip off that many games in a short time. So,
So there are only a few teams capable in the league. So teams like that have that kind of frontline pitching, though, the guys that can throw anytime. I think that's the one thing they have in their back pocket right now.
well, some interesting foreshadowing on this. So rolling up, continuing again with the AA, Waconia comes in at 10%. I think they're a little bit deeper with their arms, so their odds a little bit up for some of the teams that are in the losers bracket. The Loons are coming in at 40% in the AA, and the A's 45% to three-peat as AA champs.
That's actually, I mean, as far as percentages go, this is the closest, at least the ones we've seen. At least I haven't looked ahead, but this AA bracket is a dogfight, and each team that's fighting for their life, that's on the brink of elimination, has a guy, that can dig them out of that and put the pressure on the team that's supposedly working with house money. So hopefully it gets all twisty this weekend, so it's not just straightforward. But if last weekend was any indication, I'm sure it'll be like that as we move forward.
Our last bracket, we will end with this: the AAA, the Cinderella story, the long shot in the AAA, the Elko Chuggers coming in at just 0.1%. So my question is, what are the Cannons if they're registering 0.1% and they're not putting that out? But the Elko Chuggers 0.1%. Mammoth, you're next on the list. How do you feel about 1.3?
But it's thick.
Again, they probably have to win 5 games. Can the rubber band man, Matt Grilla himself, throw 5 games in 4 days? Cliff says yes, he can. Spoken as takes one to know one. Cliff might be right about this. Obviously, the Mammoth have more pitching if they need it. Dahl is available. Stark's had some arm issues. He's not available. He's scratched. Corcoran can get out there. We've seen it before. He can get it done. Thumbs down from him too. All right, so it's maybe Dahl and it's
Matt Grill is gonna throw every inning of the weekend as long as there's still a team. Kenny will be there too.
Boy, for all the hate we've given the Grays in terms of seeing them win, I think if the Mammoth were to somehow pull this off, it would be an equally defeating thing. I mean, because now the story changes from a 3-peat, 4-peat champion to no new champion in almost a decade.
Golly, you thought about this a lot. You zoomed out a lot further than I have on this. Holy man. Okay. No, I mean, you'd have to, maybe that's a poll question for our audience as we head into the next weekend.
Well, just would love some new blood this year.
No.
Is the new blood going to come out of the Snappers? Claude doesn't think that is possible. Just 2.5% for the Snappers. Obviously, with the arms that they have, I think this is a team that could potentially do it with 3 guys who have an ERA under 1. With Rude, Fuller. I mean, Gurmar gets in that mix. They're a team that does have the pitching to do this. They've got the sticks to do this. I think if they were to pull an upset, they could potentially come back and defy this long shot odds. What say you?
No, I agree. It's just getting that first one, coming out hot or strong and not getting down early when you're the team that's trying to stay alive. And when you have the arms that can do that, it's just, that first inning, holding them to the 0 and then go from there. I think that's huge. And when you have the pitching that they do, it makes it a lot easier. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, here's what I find the most interesting of all of these Claude Insights. Coming down to the final 3 teams with odds in the AAA, you would think with the Minoka Grays being in the losers bracket so early that they might be next on this list. They are not. The Rosemount Pipers are next on this list.
The reason why Rosemount is third is because an 8-run lead is not safe in the bottom of the seventh inning.
Ooh. For those who don't get the reference, Pipers blew an 8-0 lead to the South Metro Saints in the last inning,
And they've had to play like 5 extra games because
and
of
it
that.
cost them the division. I mean, they would have won the division, not had to play in the play-in. Could have changed the landscape for the entire postseason bracket, but Rosemount comes in with this one at 26%. So decent odds, and you'll probably already start to notice that this is the only bracket that gives real 3 legit contenders, right?
Sure. Yep.
We've got just a couple of small slices of pie and 2 contenders in most of the others. This one, we have a 3-horse race, at least according to Claude. Again, 26% for the Rosemount Pipers. Minoka Grays are next on this list with a 31% chance to win it all. Again, I just referenced the arms. You're talking about Ben Schroeder. You're talking about Taylor Nelson. You're talking about Jack Nelson. You're talking about Bob Lovis. You're talking about MVR. I mean, they have no shortage of talent, no shortage of depth, no shortage of availability. These guys show up. They play hard. If anybody is counting them out right now, you're an idiot.
It's hard to get bet against them. I mean, most teams you get through one guy, or the team doesn't have 1 or 2 people. Okay, we can, we're settling in here. But with these guys, it's just you got to bring it, and I'm stammering because I feel like we've talked about them for 2 years now straight. They're great to watch. Also, it's the amount of skill that's just in that dugout is insane. So you can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'd like St. Louis Park this weekend," because they're repeat champs and they haven't really done a ton to indicate that they're planning on losing anything this weekend.
We're runaway favorite. Runaway
Runaway.
favorite. Up to you. What do you want to call it? But your favorite in this division, obviously the only team that we haven't mentioned that's still remaining, the Minnetonka Saints come in at 39% to get this done. I think it should be higher. I think they beat the Pipers.
Beat the Pipers.
I think the West is best. I think they throw fists. I think they throw Tommy Hansen. I think they get it done. I think they end up sneaking past the Pipers. I'll use Cliff's score 8-5. But I think
Hey, I noticed how you dropped an 8 in there. I thought it was gonna be 9-8. That would have been perfect.
yeah, well, I almost stepped all over myself with the wrong Tommy. But I think Minnetonka is unbelievable. They are very good 1 through 9. They have the pitching, the defense. 15-1-1 this year, 17-1 last year. I think this is Minnetonka's year. They have experience winning a AA recently. And I think that trend of AA champions eventually becoming AAA champions is going to continue in the near future. Saints get it done Thursday. They get it done this weekend. They run a perfect bracket.
Ooh.
And they go undefeated as AAA
Unblemished.
champs.
Well, there's something to be said. Any Packer fans in the house? So remember when we went on that run back in 2010 from the 6th, the wild card? You win a couple games, you get some momentum, and you're coming from the bottom. Look, Pipers have looked so good since they pooped the bed against us in that 1 inning. They've looked a lot better, and I think they've kind of got things like aligned. We're like, all right, let's get serious. They have something in mind.
Well, nobody is more excited that I picked the Saints than the Pipers, because if they recall last year when I picked the Pipers to go through, I put a little bit of a curse on them, and it didn't come to fruition. We'll see if the Madden curse is anything like the Fed Up curse. But I like the Saints to get it done. I think they do just that. We'll just have to wait and see. But we will be there with the Toast to the Champions next week. We'll have to see who we ultimately have on. But looking forward to that episode. Ben Schroeder pointing at himself. He's put in his hat into the ring. But thank you to everyone in attendance tonight. Apologies for going long. Apologies for starting late. Kind of been a theme for us this year, but really, really appreciate
Or not at all.
your graciousness. But looking forward to a fantastic weekend of playoff baseball and putting a bow on this thing.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, if you guys see me out with a camera, championship weekend, I'm just taking footy, and feel free to say hi, whatever. As I haven't had a ton of chances to talk to people as uh, throughout the season, just because everyone's so busy. But it'd be nice to actually chum it up a little bit. And second, Rosalie, Junie, love you. It's time for bed now. Thank you for watching. I promised them I'd tell them.
I love it. I love it. You got it in. Dad of the year. Couple of housekeeping announcements. We're gonna have a few more episodes. We're gonna do. We're trying to make up for the lack of content over the summer. We have the Toast to the Champions next week. We have former Pro Bowl wide receiver Adam Thielen the week following. We have former professional ball players Chase Henkes and Jake Petricka the week following that. And we have former Twins reliever Matt Guerrero coming on an episode as well over the next month. So we're going to crank out some additional content. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
The off stove.
Yeah, we're still going to keep a Federal League theme. We're still going to have them talk about things that are pertinent to the league, but just a great chance to highlight some real great careers and draw some lessons that are applicable for the guys in our league. But thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again for being a subscriber. Good luck this weekend. Stay healthy, and until then, stay fed.
There we go.